Hi, Great Tech. Saw your video. I think that since you're queuing in, you want people to think so much deeper about things, and yet you're going to criticize Zeitgeist. I thought I'd look a little bit more into it. Now, you're mentioning, yes, sun and sun. There seems to be no etymological similarities between these. Although you're incorrect in assuming that this is simply an English language root, in that because there is Armenian and Gothic, it appears, where sun, S-O-N, is read as or spelled S-U-N-U-S, sunus, in these older roots, and SU seems to be also associated with sun, SON, in some capacity. But yeah, this is not this presentation in Zeitgeist about sun and sun is simply an overlay. Kind of like in your previous video, you said, at what cost? The Holocaust? Or something to that effect. It's just an overlay that they were using. And yeah, they were using music in their video also. And why would they use music? You say, why would they use this technique? Think about it. Well, it's no different than a mother yelling at a child to stay out of traffic. It's with that tonality. And of course, they want to import this tonality because if what they're saying has an ounce of truth to it, you would want that. I would want that as the viewer. Yeah, why not? Suspend me. This is messing me up. Anyway, so what you were mentioning about, or what they were getting at with the sun and the sun, and you can look this up, is Ra. Ra is the ancient god of Egypt who's not of the earth. And then Horus is the ancient god, the solar god, that is of the earth, or the anthropomorphization of Ra, so to speak. Now, Hathor is Ra's mom, so to speak, and this is the eye of Horus. And so Horus, though, is the falcon, just like Ra, and basically what they're trying to present is that Ra is the head unearthly god, and then Horus is the earthly god of the same deity, the solar deity. And so Horus, derivative through language, comes down to Horus, or horizon line, and then you have Set, which is Seth. It's the same as Seth, and so in the Hebraic, you have Adam and Eve's third offspring is Seth, and so you have the man and you have the living, and living is generally represented by light in Egyptian, which is the forebearer to the Judeo-Hebrewic histories. And so you have Set then. Now, Set is the Egyptian god of night. And so every day there is a war between Horus and Set, killing Set. And so the whole idea behind this is to present the mythology of the gods through the ages. Now, as far as the birth date of God, of course, you don't have the date, but one of the rituals of ancient people was to parade around with a hearth and a baby, calling this Horus, and to do so on the shortest day of the year, the day with the shortest light in the year. And so that's extrapolated by the makers of Zeitgeist and as to being on the solstice. Okay, and it seems to go very well with the 3 days, third son of Adam and Eve, 22nd, 23rd, and 24th of the year. There is a rationality to what they're doing, even though the overlay wasn't accepted so well by you. Anyway, on to the next. Aaron Russo, yeah, he does Trading Places, and the thing is you think that Alex Jones and Aaron Russo and Ron Paul are all in cahoots here, and I think they get along. I think they share a vision. But to give you my analysis, Freedom to Fascism was more about an empirical conversation, firstly about taxes and then about government controls, and it was using evidences that were found where Zeitgeist is more of broad overviews, broad scopes in terms of undercurrents, things that could be happening. And so Aaron Russo didn't just have a conversation with this Rockefeller fellow, he was befriended by them. They could have multiple conversations. So simply by saying, well, this interaction yielded this conversation and utilizing it in a one movie over here, and then saying, well, this other conversation was about this to elicit a different direction. Well, this is what artists do all the time, and so I don't want you to mix up Trading Places for 48 Hours just because they both have Eddie Murphy. And what I'm getting at by this is that freedom to fascism and loose change and Zeitgeist, these are all three different movies, and the Illuminati videos, these are different scopes and different visions on different histories and different trends. Okay, now you want to be not ignorant, and you mentioned that you're not ignorant of these arguments. I just basically wanted to point out that 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 the spirit you had mentioned in your video that these gentlemen Ron Paul and Aaron Russo are trying to ruin the revolutionary spirit in our country. And it's interesting. First of all, I don't think you're a native of the United States. Secondly, the revolutionary spirit to revolve, like the heliocentricness of the sun or the Ra, to revolve means to put the sphere back onto the ground in the same place where it was. And Ron Paul seems to want us to become, a constitutional country, regardless of the impact of where the trends are in the modern day. And this alone is a revolution. It is a revolutionary spirit. And granted, it would shake up things to no end. Yet at the same time, I think that he exemplifies the revolutionary spirit, trying to get us back to something that once was, because our Constitution is the backbone, and the more there's side swipes, undercurrents, and the rug being pulled out from underneath it and breaking it down or making it more malleable, the less impact it truly has. And then the beast that America made in the world, occupying 103 out of 190 or so countries, can come back and take us by storm and regulate us. I guess another thing I wanted you to take a look at, you seem to be a real advocate of the one world order, and that's very Star Trekky and very nice and very complacent, but I think history has been full of individuals that are trying to bring down the pyramid shape, bring it down and squash it. And Marxism, the ideal of Marxism, never met. Modern communism was crap, and it fell to crap over a single century. And yet it's employed and it's tried and tested, and we're warring with it. But it doesn't mean that different individuals weren't always trying to bring down the powers that are enslaving them throughout time. And we normally note these people as being honorable, or at least they are a footnote in history. One person and so you might be you might enjoy your position in the world, and that's just fine. But what a world government would do is create a monoculture in the world, and I would beg you to read some Vandana Shiva. I'll try to put a link, or I'll put a link in the side on monocultures of the mind, perspectives, and on biodiversity and biotechnology. Because what one world government does do is it takes away diversity, and diversity is power. Americans started being powerful because of our diversity. As far as where and what you want out of YouTube and what your influence is, I think that's fine. I personally voted, and I did vote for Ron Paul. And granted, he's not going to make any influence, but nevertheless, I would rather see what he's trying to do come to fruition than the same old game that's happening. Cheers.